Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and this is a reaction video to my first viewing reaction to Avatar Fire and Ash, which I saw at the Harlow Queensgate Cinema earlier today. It was a 10:20 screening, and we finished about 2:07 in the afternoon, so 10:20 a.m. and 14:07 or 2:07 p.m. Roughly, because it's a 3 hour 17-minute long film, give or take, and for whatever reason Cineworld love having very long ads and trailer previews before the films. Sometimes, like, usually it's about 25-27 minutes, sometimes a bit less for a U or PG rated film. Sometimes it can go longer. This one was about 30 minutes. It was about 29-30 minutes exactly. And it started about 10 to 11 in the morning for the specific film starting time rather than the screening. So yeah, so that would be pretty much 3 and just over a quarter of hours, but longer. So, and for whatever reason, because it's already over 3 hours, and Cineworld wants to add another half hour onto that, so that's nearly 4 hours. I don't know why they do that. Like, for an over 3 hour film pack, for over 2.5 hours, adverts and previews and such should not be any more than 20-22 minutes, maybe less. It's just a bit silly. Even if this is the big film to have some big trailers, some new trailers, or special adverts or whatever, you know. But it's silly when it's 30 minutes of it for a film that's over 3.25 hours, including credits. So yeah, that's a bit stupid. People are there for nearly 4 hours. Also, speaking of which, I saw an article about people coming out of the film being disappointed and angry that there wasn't an Avengers Doomsday trailer, even though one's been noted. First of all, you do not judge the film by the fact that there is no trailer for a completely different film that's not going to be out for another year or almost. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to see that trailer, fair enough. If you're a bit disappointed, but you're going to see Avatar Fire and Ash, and you get all of this other stuff in front of it, as I just mentioned. You're going to see Avatar Fire and Ash with Avengers Doomsday trailer promised. Because if you don't get that trailer, then, I mean, because it is in there, or some of the later screenings. Well, by now it has been, but yeah, fair enough if you feel disappointed by not seeing it, but you're not going to see Avatar Fire and Ash just to see that trailer. You're going to see Avatar Fire and Ash to watch Avatar Fire and Ash. You can wait for the trailer to go online if you just want to watch the trailer. It's not like the days of when the trailers were people just going to see go and see a movie just to watch trailers for another film, like Nostalgia Critic mentioned, or Bug's Life. People just went in there to see the Star Wars Episode 1 Phantom Menace trailer and then left before the movie started. It's not those days anymore. You can wait for it to go online. I mean, go and see the film anyway. Yeah, so you can tell my I like this film based on the fact that I'm telling people to go and see it. Because if I didn't like the film, I would say don't bother going to see it. Definitely wait to see the trailer online. But yeah, I just thought, because I saw that article and I was just like, well, even before seeing the film, I was like, you don't go and see the film just to see that particular trailer, even if it is there. You see it as one of the other trailers. Like, there was a new trailer for The Odyssey, a new trailer for Star Wars, Mandalorian and Grogu, for example. And then, like, if there's a new trailer there, then fair enough. I'm actually surprised the Spider-Man Brand New Day one wasn't there, and apparently that's been leaked. I saw an article saying it's been leaked just a few minutes ago, saying it's been leaked. I'm waiting for that just to go online, so I'll watch that when it goes on officially, when Disney, Sony, Marvel, or someone like Screen Rant or someone posts the trailer officially. Also, one other thing, I was actually going to do this reaction. I can realize I'm nearly 5 minutes in and I haven't actually got to talking about the film itself. But I want to mention this more so than the other points. I actually did try to film a reaction back at Queensgate in Harlow a few minutes after coming out of the cinema. So after popped to do after seeing the film when it finished, and then went out to try and film a reaction. Now, I was going to go and do it in the similar spot to where I did the Snow White reaction, because the place where I did the reaction for I Swear, which I then included as part of the video for the Greater Anglia post-nationalisation trips video down, and I had edited that into there, but because there was quite a few people going up and down that, I had to keep stopping to record anyways. Not even pause record, just kept stopping. So that one had to be edited anyway. I'm going to edit this video as well. But yeah, because that bit down there, there's quite a few people going between the cinema and a cinema specific car park, as opposed, well, people can back round the back as well as in front of the cinema at Harlow Queensgate. But because there's a lot of people using that bit to get to the Cineworld specific car park, quite a few people were going down that, so I had to keep stopping to let people pass without them being in the shot. And yes, that couldn't do that for this film because there was even more people doing that at the same time. So I thought, okay, I'll go to the other side, which is a bit quieter, because that goes more towards the other side of the cinema. Is the road is on its way out towards the exit, so that's a little bit more quieter. It's more so maybe people going around to yeah, it's not as many people use that one. But as I was trying to film there, there was about two mid to older teens, young adults, just kind of hanging around there, and whatever reason, I just felt a bit strange that they were watching me, maybe because I was trying to film something just for myself. And then, like 49 seconds into recording, they were like, one of them was pushing the other one on a trolley down that little alley. It's a bit of a bigger alley than the other one, but that alley, they were pushing each other down, just kind of messing about. And I just felt like, no, I can't film a reaction at all if they or other people are going to be like this. Like, they're going to be messing about around here. It's going to be awkward and feel uncomfortable. So I've got that first 49 seconds. I'm going to show you that now. And that'll be me trying to introduce the vlog as I was trying to. I thought it might just be a one take go, but if I needed to, I would do the editing. But yeah, and then for whatever reason, those teens, young adults messing about, they're like, yeah, just doing that. So that's at the end of that clip. So I'll roll clip, so you could see the point where I had to stop because of that. Hello, Nick here, around to the back of the Harlow Queensgate Cinema. Well, actually it's over there, actually behind HomeSense. So, I've just seen Avatar Fire and Dash, that's Avatar 3, the first film of the Avatar series. Now, Avatar films, I only started getting into, I watched the first one in 2022 when it had its re-release, and then the second one, ahead of the second one, and then I saw the second one with my good friend Ollie Pajak, who currently is down in Hatfield with Harry Thomas and maybe a few other friends to see the film. So hope you guys had fun. Well, I know Harry did because he's already seen it, but yeah. So what the fuck are they doing? So yeah, that was awkward. As I was like, what are you doing? And they just said, having fun. Do you want to get in? I'm like, no. Yeah, and so I just thought, I'll go and find somewhere else to do it. I was going to go to Tim Hortons for lunch anyway. But I didn't really think there was a very good spot that would be quiet and out of the way, because there was, like, even if I went to another corner between some of the shops, it might still be a bit loud and people going past be like, what is they doing? So I just thought I'd either wait till I got home or find somewhere that's a bit quieter on the way, and ultimately home was the better choice, as I could just do it in my own room, just with myself, nobody else interrupting. So yeah, I don't know what those young people were thinking. I know it's Saturday, I know it's near Christmas time, but really, it's a shopping uh area, like retail park, not a playground. And for those guys, about somewhere between the ages of 15 and 23, my estimate, I'd be like late teens, early 20s from what I could tell. I could be wrong, but from my estimate, like you would think they'd know better by those ages. So, yeah, very strange. Okay, so on to my actual thoughts on the movie now. 10 minutes into recording, more for you guys now that you've seen that clip. So Avatar: Fire and Ash. Well, personally, I think this is the strongest of the three Avatar films so far on a story script level. However, as like I felt like going into this movie, I do think three films of Navi versus humans is enough. I do want James Cameron to finish his story, so I do hope 4 and 5 do get made. But I hope 4 and 5 take a different approach to the storytelling than humans versus Navi with a bit of something else, with some spice on to it. Two did spice it up from one. First one, it was, that was the first time for this series. Then okay, fair enough. Second time started out like a bit of a repeat, but it did have some new elements in to kind of mix it up a bit, and it was a bit more of a grandiose fight, and adding the water elements in, Quaritch and some of the other people being human, the water clans, etc. There was a bit of a spice up from the first one, but it was also more of the same, but a bit more visually like there was a bit more visual updates and a bit more of that spice. Not sort of like not a rinse and repeat. I think them having to try and hide out in a different clan as opposed to staying in the forest was a good change of direction. But we do not need to see Navi v Human with a bit of spice up 3, 4, 5 times. That's why I'm hoping 4 and 5 will be a different direction if they get made. As for 3, well, 3's it's a bit of, yeah, technically, yeah, it's still humans versus Navi, but you've also got this other clan of the Navi, which was what was looking the most interesting going into the new film. Was there were these bad Navis, the Fire Clan, basically, and it was going to be interesting. There's also some uneasy alliances here and there as well, but it's not exactly quite, And I mean, Harry Thomas in his post, I mentioned he's already in that little clip just now at the Queen's Gate. He's already seen the film, and in his posts on Facebook and YouTube, the YouTube postings, he said it's not the movie you expect it to be. I would say he's half right, and the other half is exactly what I was expecting it to be. So yes and no. I was expecting the human v Navi conflict to continue with the Fire Clan teaming up with the humans, and yeah, there is a bit of an uneasy tension earlier on, like in the first hour, and you're not really sure, and there's a bit of an uneasy alliance between Jake and Quaritch at one point. But then that somewhere around before we get to halfway, it does become the Fire Navi teaming up with the humans, and it does become exactly what I expect from that point of view. I did wonder if maybe we might get a three-way fight between humans, the forest / water Navi, and the wind Navi as well. They're introduced here, and or if they were introduced earlier, I've forgotten about that, and it feels like it's the first time here. And the Fire Navi, but no, the humans and the Fire Navi do team up. So yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I was expecting that to happen. Maybe in the next film, maybe there'll be more of the bad guys than the humans. I'd actually prefer that, to be honest. Maybe the humans take a back seat for the fourth film. Maybe they'd have a Navi civil war. That would be my suggestion. Yeah, the humans can still be there. Maybe they could still do some stuff. But after 3 attempts of whatever they've been doing, you think they think, maybe we should probably reconsider our options here. And I think, at least for film 4, film 5, maybe they can come back bigger and stronger than ever, perhaps after taking a break. But film 4, I think, should definitely, absolutely move in a different direction. And I think the Fire Navy being set up as these other villains could be the way to progress that story along, perhaps a civil war. And we kind of saw that here with them fighting the water, forest, and wind navies. But I think them being the villains of the fourth film, more so than the humans, would be a better idea. In the third film, they were pushed as the big sort of like the big addition to this film, like on the promotion and the trailers, and even in the title, Fire and Ash. What I'll say is, for the most part, yeah, they live up to that, but also at the same time, we've still got a lot of the humans being the villains at the same time, and they do team up naturally. They're like working together for the majority of the film, but I was expecting more of the Fire and Tribe doing their own thing, either before that or during that as well. So I thought like they would be more involved as opposed to just working with the humans after that, after Quaritch goes to their camp and basically suggests the alliance. They're definitely a formidable threat before that. I mean, they're a formidable threat throughout the whole film, but like doing they're on their own things for quite a bit of the first half. But then once they're teamed up with the humans, they kind of like they kind of just merge together. And I mean, maybe I suppose in the final battle, they do come as like the second round of things to fight, or everybody else to fight off, like the second incoming second wave, no pun intended, of people to fight. But even still, I feel like the Firing Clan were built up in advance to be more of a presence in the film, and about halfway through, when they team up with the humans, they kind of like not sidelined, but they kind of just mix in with the crowd, so to speak, or villains, so to speak. Not to mention the film around during the second act does spend a lot of time with the humans at their camp base. There's this whole bit where they capture a character. They capture some characters. I won't say who specifically for spoilers, but they capture some characters. They go there for a portion of the film, and then they have to escape that, etc. And I feel like that's probably the bit where it probably drags the most. Is probably just doing that angle of the story. I can understand why they've done that story, especially so that certain characters can learn about what's going to happen for when the climax takes place. As well as some other character development stuff as well. But in terms of like the plots, in terms of the overarching stuff going on, it feels like it's just kind of like just added on or added in the middle, or after the middle. It's about an hour and a half or something into the film, so around the halfway. And it's also there's also some bits where it feels like there's like characters are going to do something, then they're going to do something else, and they're in two different places between shots. So I don't know. Maybe this one's not quite the best edited, at least in terms of different scenes. But maybe it has been 3 years since I saw the other two. So, but yeah, sometimes it isn't really sure who's where at what point in time. But yeah, nevertheless, it's still very good, still a very strong film. I think I probably would put it in the top 10 of the year, but I would only give it a 9 out of 10. I don't think I like the same with the other two films, to be honest. I would not. My top 6 currently are all 10 out of 10, so everything from number 7 onwards is another score. I think this one I'm thinking of placing this one 8th on the list, but I think it would still just about get into top 10. If it's not 8, then it'd be 9 or 10. Which was the prediction? I consider putting it 7th, actually. I consider putting over a specific film that I had a lot more enjoyment out of. Well, not a lot more, I had more enjoyment out of. I thought it was a stronger film. But still would give that a 9 out of 10. I did consider putting this one above that, but I think after thinking about some of my points here, and thinking about like which one do I actually like more, I think I might put this one below that one. And that other film is Superman, by the way, Superman 2025. So it was between this and Superman, which one was going to be 7th on the list, and I think Superman beats out. As for next ones down, I'll have to check my list, but I think I might put this one down at 8th. Way of Water was 7th or 8th of my 2022 list, so it's around a similar spot to that. And to be honest, that was only 7th or 8th because I included 50 Slices of Bonding in 5th place. That was technically not a cinema film, that was a special screening made by, well, I was an executive producer on that, but it was made by my good friend Ollie Pajak. So, yeah, I included that one. Technically, we did have a screening of all 3 of those films, so I included that. So, Way of Water probably would have been 6th if I didn't include that film. But because I included 50 Slices, I put that 7th or 8th. So, Fire and Ash, I would say, is about on a similar level, similar placement for this year's list. Maybe 1 or 2 down. And that does not include some of the special screenings that I've gone to, like Wicked for Good. I did a double bill with the first Wicked, so GoldenEye and Back to the Future at the cinema. Hamilton the Musical, Six the Musical, live. Those special screenings, add those on, it actually does knock it down nearer to 15. 15 out of nearly 40. So, nearly 40, that's really good though. But not including those, it's like 8th out of 34, give or take. Yeah, 7th or 8th. Yeah, I think I'm going to settle with 8th because I do want to put Superman 7th. I do want to say that was the best of the 9 out of 10s, and then we get into the top 6, which are all 10 out of 10s, including Wicked for Good, by the way. I won't say where that one is. New Year's Day, Facebook, Twitter, and Blue Sky. Maybe I'll do a video shortly after that as well, but if you're following me on Facebook, Twitter, and Blue Sky, 2025 ranking New Year's Day, or shortly after. So I'll try and make it New Year's Day like the last few years. So stay tuned for that if you're on there, and if I decide to do a video, it will be on here. So yeah, overall, I think Fire and Ash is the strongest story of the trilogy so far. But again, I think the series needs to go in a new direction next time if the films get made. And I do want this. Even before I saw the film, I did hope James Cameron would be able to finish his story on the big screen both times, 4 and 5, instead of them just being book or other expanded media. But I do think they need to change the direction, at least for film 4. Give it a break from the Navi-human war. Just a bit, maybe just a small group of humans, maybe allies of the Fire Clan, or we have the three-way fight. The Fire Clan are no longer allies of the humans, so we get a three-way fight, which I sort of thought might happen here. But the fact that they team up with the humans was, like, I was somewhat expecting that, to be honest. Pretty early on, there was the thought of maybe the three-way, but no. Well, not from the halfway, or roughly halfway onwards anyway. Like, there was the initial threat of them as the bigger threat to begin with, but like halfway through, or nearly halfway through, they do team up with Quaritch and the humans. So film 4 either needs to put the humans on the back burner, maybe as a lesser threat, to make maybe the Fire Navi or another threat as the big bad, or a complete no team up freeway. Maybe like some uneasy alliances here, like we saw with Jake and Quaritch in some spots here, like earlier on, for example. But otherwise, like very brutal, like couple minutes. But otherwise, other than maybe some of those, completely no alliances at all. And then film 5 could be maybe all of the Navis teaming up to fight a massive human threat, or something else. I don't know. I just think that we need to, we've done human v Navi 3 times now. And even though 2 and 3 have spiced them up a bit and added the evil Navi, etc. But I think film 4 needs to be a bit different. If we go with if films 4 and 5 go ahead, I think they need to be a bit different, while still keeping the universe. I think the best thing about this film is it continues to further world build, and we're spending a lot more time with the Navi. That was also something, well, the other two did really well, especially number 2. Film 1 did a great job with setting up the world building, but it was also, like, it was doing a single story, whilst part 2 was sort of setting up a 2-story arc, 2-film arc. So that further expanded the world, and it was the the big return after 13 years. This one, I think, does, as it's the third film, it does a really great job with just the world building on its own and with the Na'vi clans. And I think going into the fourth film, we can, like, that could be the focus. Like I said, maybe the evil Na'vi, or the antagonist Na'vi, at least, could be more of the main threat. But that's me. That's how I feel. We'll find out in 4 years' time if it's officially approved and goes ahead. We'll find out how Avatar 4 goes down, and then 5 in 2031. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, yeah, Fire and Ash. It's really good. Personally, it's probably strongest of the three, but I do have notes. And yeah, but yeah, it's also the visuals are, of course, amazing. Like, it looks really real, even though a lot of it looks is still CG'd. But that's great. It's like they're continuing to make it look amazing. I don't know if it's any more technically spectacular than the second film. I think the second one's probably the best on the visual level, because the first one was incredibly groundbreaking, and the second one, with all the water effects and stuff, it kind of took it to the next level. I think this one's probably on the same level as number 2, so I think number 2 gets the award for best technical film. I think this one might actually be the one might be less technically advanced than 3, but I think 3's probably, it's not as, like, it looks amazing, but unlike 1 and 2, it's not as much to shout about because we're back in this world not very long afterwards. What I will say is probably the costumes and makeup are probably a step up, though, especially with the fire group. So I think that's probably a step up. But yeah. So yeah, hopefully even more technical and or at least visual eye candy in the next 2 films when they come along. Otherwise, I'll say 2 was the best on the visual level. So that'll be it from me. I suppose that's about it I can do without going into spoilers. I'll also say the youngest Sully kid, I'm gonna say with her, I want to mention she gets a really great bit where she sort of helps being a hero at one point, helping her older sister, and then like 2 scenes later she's kidnapped, like she was in the previous film. Film 4, make her a hero and don't let her be captured. Beef her role up. So yeah, hopefully she'll get more of a role and will not get captured and will become one of the heroes who saves the day. And then again in film 5. So anyway, okay, that will do. That will do without going into spoiler territory. Thank you for watching this reaction video. What did you think of Avatar Fire and Ash? Do you think it's great? Do you not think it's great? Do you prefer it to the other 2, or do you rank it the weakest, or one, or somewhere in the middle, and one or the other is like one's above, one's below, or is it the other way around? Perhaps, like 1 at the bottom, 2 at the top, or is it 2 at the bottom, 1 at the top, and 3's in the middle of both lists? Drop a comment down below. And Harry Thomas, if you're watching, I know how you feel about this film already, so you could maybe just a few sentences to summarize. Also, go check their video out when it comes out. I'll give you a bit of a promotional push. Go check that video out, because it'll probably be a super mega epic major rave. Probably. Almost definitely. No, it will be. It will absolutely 1000% be a super major epic mega rave. And that's rave, not rant. When Harry, Ollie, myself, other people will be like super major epics rant for ones we just hate, super major epic rave for ones we love. So yeah, okay, that will do for me. That will do, donkey. That will do, as Shrek would say. Oh, and for those wondering why I haven't done War Between reactions yet, I just didn't really have much time. We'll get round to it after the first 2 episodes. What I might try and do is see after tomorrow's finale. I might watch the series a second time in the after it's all out, over the 1 month since broadcast. Might be a bit less time for the first 2 on that case, but and then I'll try and see do second reactions to that, and then third viewing, I'll do the review, or second viewing, and I'll just go straight into the reviews. Yeah, I don't really feel as pushed to do the reviews of them at the moment, but I will do them at some point. I'm helping out at a panto in a few weeks' time, so might be the later half of January when I do. So we'll see how it goes. But if I did do the reactions, it might be slightly early on. Um, Actually, it might probably be the review. It might be straight to reviews after the second viewing. We'll see how it goes. Something will happen. I'll talk about War Between at some points in the next month or two. Sorry for not doing the reactions sooner. Anyway, so that's it from me. Thank you for watching. For realsies this time. See ya. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne YouTube channel. If you're desperate, go and see the film anyway. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the first. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.